Hey everybody, it's Brick Waffle, and today we are going to work on New Bricktown. Now you can see down here that we have all of these structures that I've put into place. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out, but I don't think there's really a good unifying theme for the village yet. And I've decided that it might be easier to do this in a little bit less of an organic area, something that's more pre-made and gridded out. So what I've done is I've started laying down a road system and a little bit of a village wall and basically an outline for what I want to do. If you've been watching my Let's Build series, then you probably have just seen, if I got the timing of releasing these videos right, my Let's Build a Tudor House episode. I'm going to use that design over here, and you will see what it's going to look like on our survival server. You can see that I do have some woolen clay and some roof tiles, some carpenter's wedge slopes, and some other materials. But I have cleared out this area just over here, so you can see that that's where the chalet is, and Bricktown is of course back there, and this is going to be the site of New Bricktown. Now there's also been some clearing that I've done here so I can eventually put a road in to connect all of this stuff up. A road that can go up this way and towards the chalet, one that can go out into the desert here, and one with a little bit of a bridge over this way. And as I mentioned in the Let's Build video, I have been using some different wood types here. I'm going to experiment with some of that, but you can see that there are some quarters here, some districts of the city based on dark oak, regular oak, spruce, and jungle wood. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start building on these things. I'm not going to build all of this on camera. If you do want to see how I've been building these Tudor-style houses, then you can certainly go to the Let's Build videos and watch those. Based on your comments in this video and on that video, I may or may not go and do another Let's Build for these L-shaped buildings, but I am going to go ahead and get started building on the 4 corner buildings that I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do with. And then I have to figure out what I'm going to do with these walls and gates. I have a basic portcullis here, but obviously I don't have any kind of crenellation on top of this wall, no battlements of any kind, and it's just flat. So I know I'm going to have to put up some kind of barriers here. I don't know if I'll get to that in this video or not, and this video is going to have a few transitions because I want to do some progress updates. I don't want to have you watch me build something on camera that if you're a subscriber in this channel you've probably already watched before. If you don't like a video with a lot of transitions, you may just want to skip ahead. But hopefully this will be interesting for everybody and you'll be able to see the progress and be as pleased with it as I am. So I will get back to you guys when I have a progress update. Alright, you can probably see that I went ahead and did some basic things for all of the buildings that are not L-shaped. So all of the oak district has the oak wood here and some podzol, you can see that. And each of these has basically the matching wood and some podzol around. This is going to be for the landscaping on the outside. The exception here is while I don't like the way that the acacia wood looks in planks, I do prefer the look of their trees to jungle trees. So I'm going to hide as much of this orange as I can, and I think these actually work pretty well together as well. It's also kind of hard to tell what we're doing right now, but you can see from my inventory, I went ahead and made myself a whole bunch of colored bricks, and you can see that I've made pretty much every frequency color there is. And I'm going to experiment with a few of these. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use any pink. I probably won't use any lime green, and magenta maybe right out as well. I'm looking for something that looks fairly dark colored. Let's put yellow away for now. Definitely going to use brown. Might use some blue, and let's see, probably won't use white just because we're using white woolen clay for the most of this. But let's try a few things here and see which materials you guys think look the best with these buildings. So with oak, here's what it would look like with gray. You've probably seen this before in the machine shop area. You can see that that's what that looks like. And let's just go ahead and do a full window frame here. That's not so bad. That's not bad at all. If we do orange here, it kind of blends in a little bit. I think orange might be a bad thing with the podzol just in general. Let's try, go back to cyan. That looks a little interesting. We could potentially do a couple of small buildings with cyan. These don't look too bright. And then have maybe some different colored woolen clay on top. So that's one option. I think blue is going to be a little too bright. Yeah, that looks a little bright for me. Whoops. And where did that piece of wood go? Let's get rid of the blue. We're not going to use you today. Actually, we're probably not going to use orange either. We know brown works with the spruce, but let's try it with the oak as well. I'm a fan. I think that looks pretty decent. Let's try out some green frequency over here with the spruce. See how that looks. That's not bad. It's right on the edge of being too bright, but you know what? I think we can work with that. Let's leave that there for now. Let's go put in some red over here. And this red is not at all like the regular red brick red. It's even the mortar is red colored. That could still work over here. We'll try that out as well. And let's try these gray bricks. And again, you've probably seen these before. That's not so bad either. It's a little bit dark, but I think it can work. Let's see. So we're going to put these on this first row here. We think we're going to use all of those colors. Let's try some of the white, and let's try the purple as well. And we may end up just reusing a few colors. Might not have to have every single building be a different color. Let's see. That actually looks pretty good. I like that one quite a bit. And I think purple was going to be a little bright just looking at it in my hand here. You know, I said in the Let's Build that I was trying to avoid the whole high fantasy, every district is a different color and all these bright colored bricks. But that actually doesn't look too bad. I think I can make that work as well. You know what? I wonder if that works. Then maybe the light blue and the yellow would work after all. Let's try yellow over here just because I think the blue and the orange is going to look really bad together. Oof, that yellow is pretty bright too. Yeah, that's a little too safety yellow for me. Can't do it. Oh wow, we're taking out some of this acacia wood as well. And now that I've watched so many Corrales videos, I keep wanting to call it a cha-cha wood. Let's see, pink is right out. I think we're just going to stick with these, and maybe we'll reuse some of the ones that are pretty basic, like this white one probably get reused over here. Let's try that one on this darker oak, because that's going to provide a nice contrast. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I actually like the contrast of that. Probably only going to have one purple building in the town. We might go back and use that gray again. Let's try that gray. Let's use that dark gray on this light wood here with the acacia. Yeah, I think that's going to work pretty well too. And I know I'm going to have to get rid of that one. Yeah, I like that a lot. A couple of bright buildings won't be a big deal. We can use those for some of our magical buildings anyway. And then we just need these last two. I would like to not have them back to back, but I might use the brown over in this corner. I know this is going to be a fairly dark building, but I want a few of those that look pretty dark like this. And remember, whatever we put on the top is really going to help this stand out. The bottom is just going to be that lowest level. So it doesn't matter if this kind of blends in a little bit. I actually think that's good in this case. And what else should we use? You know what we haven't used is actual regular bricks, and I don't even have any on me. Let's try these red ones over here again. I think that's going to look okay too, because there's a little bit of a kind of reddish texture in the dark oak slabs, or yeah, dark oak planks rather, in this texture pack. Yeah, I think that's going to work out pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build out the rest of these basic frames, and then I will do another progress update when I have something else to show you. And we're back with another update. I realized when I was making all these buildings that I miscounted this little area here. So when I put it in, it was even numbers all the way around. It wasn't a very easy place to put a door, and of all the buildings in town to have double doors, the smallest building probably doesn't make sense. So we're going to leave this as a little grassy area. In fact, it gives a nice view of the central square. I'm going to go ahead and fly up here and take you on a brief tour. These are the basic brick structures, and on top of each of these we're going to go ahead and put some woolen clay in generally white or lightish colors, and we're going to make all of these into Tudor-style houses. Once these are done, they're going to expand out. The second floor will be at the same level as this podzol, and then the roof will stick out into the road, so there'll be a cramped little area where there's not roof lines. So just a little narrow spot for sun and rain to fall through. But so far, this is actually turning out to be pretty good. It is fairly colorful, but I think it's still going to be okay. The only one that really stands out as being particularly bright is the purple one, and maybe this red one here. This might actually look better with some basic Minecraft bricks. We'll play around with that, and we'll probably save those two for last and see what we think. But otherwise, I think this is coming along pretty nicely. So once again, I'm going to get back into the next step of this, and I'll show you briefly what that looks like here with the woolen clay. So we're going to have a frame. Oh, I don't have any oak wood, but imagine, if you will, oak wood frame that comes out to about there, and then on top of that we're going to have some woolen clay that comes out along these edges as well. So if I go ahead and do this piece, and I know I'm going to have to replace some of this with wood later, but that's alright. It'll give you an idea of what we're looking at. That's fine too. So imagine that. That's the dimensions of the second story, it's going to come up a bit from there. We're going to have some spruce wood underneath that, and all these corners, of course, are going to, well, not spruce wood in this case, it's oak wood, but whatever wood is for the first floor, we're going to use that again here. There'll be a frame and another set of poles that come up, supports there, and this is actually going to be pretty good all the way around. And then the inside floors will match the floors of each of these buildings. So this oak wood parquet, we're going to use that as the second floor here, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to do a little bit more building, and I will give you another status update when I have one of these buildings completed. Alright, there is one house done with the exterior. Obviously we have some landscaping to do, some lighting to do, some detail work to do on this bottom floor, but this should give you an idea of what we're building here. These big Tudor houses that have a small footprint and a larger upstairs keep getting larger as they go up. I think I'm using that word correctly. I think it's Tudor. It could be a Bavarian style as well, but either way, you should get the idea here. So we're going to have a bunch of these buildings around town. They will probably all have these Britannia roof bricks. But if not, maybe I'll mix it up a little bit, see if I can find something that looks pretty good. And all of these wood strips should match the wood that's framing up these buildings. I think that's going to look really nice when they're all done. So obviously I'm not going to keep doing these cuts and giving you progress updates on every one of these buildings. Once you've seen one of these go up, you get the idea. So the next time we resume, you should have a completed village, or at least all the major structure completed. I might still leave some interior work to do on camera and a little bit of landscaping to do. But I will be back with you when I have another progress update. So for those of you watching this video, only a second or two has passed, but for me it's been almost a week. I've had a couple of issues with the recordings, but I've managed to make a lot of progress in the meantime, and hopefully this all makes it into the final cut. So you can see that I've made quite a bit of progress on our new Bricktown, which I know is what I already called that village back there, so we'll have to think of a new name. If you have any suggestions, please do let me know in the comments. But I thought, since this is more or less finished now, I would take you through a quick tour. So in here we have some fantasy blocks and more of the white wool and clay. We've continued this Tudor style. We've put in a few balconies, and from above, here's what this looks like. It's very, very uniform. It's a nice spiral pattern here, just you can see on the mini-map too. Very regular. One thing that's interesting though, carpenter's blocks do not show up on the mini-map. So you can see that it all looks like the white wool and clay that's underneath them. Here though, these villages, or this village, these little buildings look just fine. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I do need to add a few flowers, a little bit of landscaping out here, but otherwise this is more or less done. The other thing that we've added is this little bit of stairs here at the top and a daylight sensor. So what this is doing is automatically triggering these to stay open during the day and to close at night, but since they are carpenter's garage doors, you can click them to move the whole portcullis. I thought that was a nice touch. So the next big project we wanted to do today is to move along over to this corner, and you can see I've got that little area that was just grass before. We've got some elevator blocks, and right now nothing happens. There's nothing under that, but today what we want to do is dig out a little bit of a quarry underneath here. You can see I've got a quarry plus, a pump plus, a tesseract, some other things, but what we want to do is be able to dig out everything under this town and give us room to put bases and things underneath here. So we're going to go to one corner, probably this one. We don't need to go all the way to the edge, and we're going to go down 8 blocks, and the reason for that, see if I got that right. The reason for that is that we want to be able to leave a 3-block gap of surface for these buildings to sit on, and elevators will go through 3 solid blocks. So we're going to come down 1, 2, 3 right here, and then under this we want to clear out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually went a little too far with that. And that way when we set up our quarry plus, it's going to automatically go up 5 in height. We're going to make sure it doesn't go any higher than that. And that will give us the room we need with a little bit of safety in case we need to dig down to do anything interesting. So we're going to start by putting in some of these marker pluses. The other thing I've made in the short term is the situs stick, and this is a diamond shard. You get 3 of those by breaking down a regular diamond, 4 lapis, and an imbued rod. And what this does is you can right click to turn off the rain. So I thought that was pretty handy. Put one of those down here, and then we're just going to go all the way to the other side and put another one down over here. Right down here. So go down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think that's actually 8. Let me just double check that. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 1 too far. So put one on here. That should connect up. It does. And when we get all this stuff in place, then we'll be able to have lots and lots of room under here to do all of the projects we want to do. And I probably should have just made a note of what the Y coordinate was. That would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks like it's exactly right. Good to go. Alright, and let's just to be safe, we're going to come down here. 1, 2, 3. And this I know is very slow with hand. By hand. I don't know, with hand, that's a very strange way to say that. And I don't even need to do that. So if we do this, we're going to get our nice three-dimensional border. Perfect. So now we need to just go back to where we were. And actually, let's go ahead and put these gravel road pieces back in. There we go. And there's that. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to need a little bit of room to put in the quarry and associated devices and still be able to get back out. Okay, so let's put in some regular stone there, and let's see. We want the quarry plus. Excellent. And I believe those all went into the quarry plus inventory. And then we need the pump plus on top of that. And we're going to need a tesseract to collect the items out, and that needs to be set onto brick waffle. And actually, let's see, item mode, send only, fluid mode, send only, energy mode, receive only. And I don't have any conduits. So you can see I had a liquid translocator and a lava drum and a water drum. I was thinking I was going to set that up down here to pull out of the pump, but I think what I'm going to do is have everything go into the tesseract and pull it all out from the base. So let's go back up here. Alright, it took a little bit of playing around with some different configurations, but it looks like this works. I know this doesn't look the greatest. I don't happen to have a stick on me at the moment to fix that, but the tesseract will now, in theory, accept fluids from the top. It will accept items from the side, and it will provide power to the Quarry Plus through this Ender IO conduit. If we check this, you can see that it is effectively clearing everything. I could actually put a full stack of 64 in here, but it was going so fast I couldn't even see the items going through. So 16 with 4 stack upgrades seems to be going more than sufficient for what we need. And this should work. You can kind of hear it up here, and you can see it's clearing all this stuff out, all this overburden, so that it can eventually make the real quarry. And we are drawing a tremendous amount of power to go this quickly, so we're going to go back and make sure that we're not draining these capacitors completely out. Here's the Cita stick. We right click. It takes just a moment for the rain to stop, and you'll see, boom, no more rain. I love this thing. It does have durability, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't actually show how much durability it has. You can see there is a little bar on it. It shows 57 uses left if I look at the upper left corner there. But I think that's going to be sufficient. Honestly, even if it only works 64 times, it's still worth it. I know it requires like 8 nether stars to make. It's kind of a pain, but having rain while you're trying to make a video is a huge pain in the butt. So let's put some of this stuff back. We're going to keep that gravel road for now. We're going to keep this stone for, well, actually, yeah, we'll keep the stone for the time being. We'll put everything else back. And our capacitor doesn't look like it's being drained any faster than the solar input is going in. So we are in very good shape. Let's just double check that. The average output is higher than the average input, but we don't seem to be losing any on our storage. I'm not sure how that works out, but it seems to be working, so I'm not going to question it. The one thing I was going to check to see is if anything is going into these buckets. So we only have the same bucket of water and bucket of lava. I'm not sure if there's any liquids going into the system. We might just not have hit any yet. I didn't do really any exploration under here, and it may not have any water or liquids in the overburden at all. So once we get into the mine itself, hopefully that'll be a better indicator for us. And this doesn't look like it's going to take very long to complete. So it looks like here we've got quite a bit. We've got enough room to walk around under here now, which is pretty interesting. That's good. Looks like there was a cave in here of some kind, and actually if I'd have been clever, I'd have brought a bucket of water with me, so I could pour that down and see what happens. It does look like there's some water here, so once we get down to this layer, we'll be able to tell if our pump plus is working correctly or not as well. But, as I said, you should be able to see here and there are bits of gravel road that are sticking through. This is probably from where I was working on the... actually, you know what? Given where that is, I'll bet that's the center of the fountain. So I don't want to break that. Yeah, that's probably pretty close. It does look like this is working fairly well, and you can see it's going fairly quickly. There's also a couple of caves off of here that we might have to address at some point. Let's see where this goes real quick. I've got some aluminum oreberry bushes, that's interesting. And it goes into, yeah, actually it goes into a little cave system. So we'll probably want to wall this off from the rest of the underground area once this is complete. And actually, how much of that stone do we have? Maybe we can just do that right now. So that's going to be the wall right here. If we just do this, we know that's the part we're going to wall off, so let's just go ahead and come out a little bit extra, just to be safe. And that should be nice and sufficient. I'm going to go around the rest of these edges, and obviously this is going to matter more when we have the full quarry, and we'll be able to see a whole lot more about what's going on around here. In the short term, though, I think that's probably all we need to worry about, so we're going to go ahead and wall this in a little bit. We won't need to deal with that too much more until we are all done. Let's go ahead and wall that off too. And that's a nice little compact machine. So let's go back up to the very top. And just to give you a little bit better idea, once we're done here, like I said, these elevators will let us go down into that big area and kind of maintenance areas. And at every one of these houses, if we wanted to, in a corner here or somewhere, we could put in an elevator and let us drop down into the kind of undercity from there. I am pretty happy with how these things turned out. I like the oak wood covers and the triple compressed cobblestone strips along with the leaves here. I like the way the flowers turned out on the houses that I've done that on so far. Really, I'm just pretty happy with how this whole village turned out. So if you guys have any feedback on that, please do let me know. I think we're going to go ahead and call it here today. We'll resume in the next video after the quarry's done. And if you did enjoy this video, please do leave it a like. If you really liked it, then please subscribe. And as always, I've been Brick Waffle. Thank you for watching.